Hello everyone, so this is something of a pilot today that we're going to be doing in the off-season while PvP's down. I really like Game of the Day, and I'm wondering whether I can transfer that concept of bite-sized, easy-as to produce content over to some of the other formats, mainly PvE. Maybe Wild vs. Wild one day when I get back more into it. I'll find some bite-sized thing I can do. But so, I was wondering what I can do for PvE. Maybe you could show like a level in a different area and talk about lore. Well, what I think might be kind of cool is the backbone of content really in the game. That can be spliced into roughly 10 to 15 minute chunks quite often, especially with new releases, is actually achievements. Like, that's the kind of chunk-sized, rewarding little beats that PvEers go for. And I've fallen away from doing many achievements recently, so I'm going to try AP of the day. We're going to just get a little bit of AP in the morning, and we'll talk about what we did and how we did it. And if it's really boring, it's going to be way less low intensity, and there's going to be way less to talk about because PvE, frankly, is nowhere near as interesting as PvP. But we'll see, and we can, you know, shine a spotlight on the little pieces of content that ArenaNet put in the game that I don't actually ever often really talk about or showcase, to be honest. That's one area of content on my main channel that I would never really show. So today, AP of the day, pilot. Well, look, and please feel free to give feedback on this. I already know the standard comments, which is that this is going to be kind of boring, and the PvP enthusiasts won't necessarily enjoy the same style thing, but we'll see as a format. Anyway, so we're doing an All or Nothing achievement. That's the new release. There's no spoilers here. We're looking at Master of Music, so I just picked this at random. Practice the Resonating Crystal Ritual with 6 Zephyrite. By the way, I'm doing this blind each time. I'm not using guides. Achievements, I think, are way more enjoyable, and you get more content out of the game if you actually figure out the game for yourself. So anyway, you'll see that there's lots of different NPCs. I was practicing on my first playthrough with this guy, Clover, who's like standing in the center here. We'll see him in a second. And I didn't realize that there were multiple NPCs, frankly. So here, look, I'm looking at him. This is Clover. And I did that like multiple times on the initial stream, if you guys caught that. So the whole point of this is it's one of the methods to pick up this heart region. To rally the packed soldiers, Corsairs, and Zephyrite. I don't actually think this is the most efficient way of doing it. Killing stuff seems a lot better. Can you see these guys shouting at each other and angry right here? Those two can charge my my heart renown about as much as doing this whole mini game here. So it's easy just to kill them because it takes like 2 seconds. So the devs, as always, kind of let you bypass. Anyway, so I'm just kind of exploring the area. I have no idea where any of these harmonizers are, but I'm assuming they're in these rooms, and my assumption is correct, it seems here. So we picked up a crystal, and we have this buff on us, and it makes us sing as we walk around, by the way. Or we hear this kind of noise. It's very Skyrim-esque, this release, with the chanting, I feel like. I feel like that beautiful song, Kind's Peace. Anyway, so we're going to speak to the guy. And he's going to say, hey, you've got a crystal, harmonize with me. I need to brush up on my technique. We'll say absolutely. He says, I'll lead us off. So now he's going to play a song. I'll just let you listen to it. And it's our job to see the colors and the notes that he played and play them back in order. I find the symbols on this really interesting. They're New Crichton, aren't they? I think they might be. But I'm not sure what they represent. Is that just a letter representing the actual note that it is, that we would recognize that as in the real world? Anyway, so you can go by like number on keyboard or color or symbol shape or whatever. But I mostly go by color. What I do to complete this, so there you go, I just played them out. What I do to complete this is as he plays it, I say out loud with my lips and tongue, red, purple, blue, and then it ends, right? And then when it's over, I just say out loud again what I say. I have a lot of memory, I guess, easy memory for just speaking out loud what I spoke a second ago. And it's with games like this always. If you watch me play Final Fantasy X-2, there was a similar mini game at some Lightning Rod Towers in like Chapter 4 or Chapter 3 and 5, and I would use the same technique there. I don't know. It seems most simple to me. Sometimes I catch myself out a little bit and I worry that I've messed up. But as you'll see through this video, we don't mess up on any of them. Spoilers, we get them all first time. So yeah, I'm still just wandering around. We find this next person, Breeze. I think the dialogue's the same every time. And so you can see how much that charged my heart as well. So she goes blue and blah, 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 blah. At this point while I was playing, I actually didn't know how many rungs there were to the achievement. I couldn't remember if it was like 6 people I needed to go to or 10. I actually felt quite good though, because this area is quite large, and I found 2 NPCs really quickly. I didn't know. You see that airship on the minimap down here? I didn't actually know if I'd have to go into that or around that. There's a huge area with lots of brandstorm and fighting. There's kind of an icy chasm nearby.
The world.
So she said that lovely line about a powerful harmony there. And I didn't know if I had to drop down into that and deal with that in any way. So I'm just sort of scouting along the cliff here, and we kind of hit the jackpot in this room.
To become a new initiate of the Zephyrite? Come, harmonize with us.
No, sister. That's the pack commander. You're familiar, aren't you?
Oh, of course it is. Well then, harmonize with us anyway, Commander.
So, yeah, they actually have some cool dialogue where they recognize us as the commander. They speak to one another. I was wondering if they were going to be harder, like they were a final boss. And one thing occurred to me with this achievement here. It's fun and all, and it's a cool little system that they've created and implemented here. But it feels almost wasted to me in that this doesn't have any main story relevance. Really, you can skip this, obviously. It's not a mechanic we play in any of the instances. I wonder whether this got built because an early concept for the release was, you know, the resonating crystals in the main story. I wonder if we were supposed to actually properly sing to those. You know how in the final instance, we just press special action key and it's away? I wonder if actually this was the original. So here we try, but we need another crystal to harmonize with her, so we've got to go and find one. Yeah, I wonder if they originally were envisioning we'd actually have to play that or something, but then they felt it was too mini-game-esque, or it was like a layer of extra stuff over the top of the game that they didn't really want to bag down or split focus from such an important narrative beat, you know? So they kept it to... And you'll notice the whole way through that final boss instance, they keep it very basic with just like throwing spears and break bars and things we're very, very, very familiar with, and a little bit of mount movement. So yeah, it's now left this thing. That's my theory anyway. But it's left this weird sort of game here. I'm noticing now that you get a little bit of heart progress for each phase. So if you mess it up 2 in a row, it still doesn't kind of matter. Yeah, so sorry, if you succeed at the first but fail the second, you still get kind of half progress. So now we've got this thing, and they only ever ask you to play 3 notes and then 4 notes. And then you're done. And it's really easy. You can spam out the notes super quick, as you see there. That I just did. And now we just need one more person. That's Saffron, and we've got to try and figure out where she is. It's going to take me a while to find her. And it just feels like a weird thing now, especially since it's not even the best way to do the heart. What I thought would be really cool as I was playing this, and what struck me, is what if they had, as like an Easter egg or a hidden thing, had like a really difficult harmonizer somewhere, and have an achievement dedicated just to beating that one person, and they could play with the formula, have us input them in reverse, yeah, which is really hard, and that's what the Final Fantasy thing did, or just have a really long sequence, or have a really fast sequence. You know, they've basically built a DDR style thing here, right? Not fully like a rhythm game. It's more like a Simon Says thing, right? And we've seen variations of that since friggin' the Gandara bonus objective in Nightfall. No, not Gandara, sorry. The Garden of Saborin. The Tyhark Orchid mission, where there's that mime and you have to emote back to him. We've seen variations of this throughout Guild Wars, but this is like a really well implemented, fully realized one, and it would just be that extra little thing. Like, what I got a sense of playing this achievement is, you know, this is the game. You know, a lot of people will think that the game as a PvEer is just playing that initial bit of story and then leaving, but no, this is the game really. If you consistently play Guild Wars 2, and it gives you a deep insight into this area of the map and stuff. And I just feel like that extra little cherry on top would have really rounded this small aspect of the release out, you know, and made it feel like I have even more to do of the game here. Finish this achievement and unlock the big boss at the end, you know. It's like that extra little cherry on top that would have just made this content feel like really, really good stuff. I don't know. It was a cool little achievement. As you can see here, I'm struggling to find the last Zephyrite. There's actually a barricade near me down below, which is, I think, suggestive of the fact that this heart region ends there, and then we would be out in the wilderness. And as much as I've looked in some other places, I'm pretty confident now that we've seen like 5 out of 6, and they've all been in these rooms in the cliffs. Surely the last one is in one of the rooms in the cliff, no? Like, as I look out to the horizon here, I can't really imagine one being on an airship now, or I can't really imagine one being across that bridge on my right there, or over into the branded area.
Left, I said.
Why in the 7 skies would we listen to you? Last I heard, we had a captain. She's over there.
That dialogue I'd actually heard already the first time I was playing, so I got a little bit bored of it in the middle. Apparently in the patch, Marjorie and Casimir start speaking near one of these heart areas too through the communicator. I don't think it's this one though, so I kind of had my ears out waiting for that. There's also a Zephyrite speaking next to a Dolyak there, and I was wondering if there was a dynamic event I didn't know about on the map. This map actually seems to have quite a few dynamic events. Had anybody noticed that? They rely a lot more on the metas, and they rely a lot more on the hearts. And it's weird that I actually am perfectly 100% fine with that. I feel like that's the main stuff that I end up caring about and focusing on. So I think we're about to find the Zephyrite finally here. Way off over in this corner, in this cubby hold. Here we are. And I click her to make sure it is Saffron. And she says, fabulous, a crystal. Let's play. So the final song is this. Actually, so it's blue. And then what did you do? Red and then purple. The first one there, blue, I actually missed. I was looking away for a second. I can't remember what distracted me. But I just saw the symbol disappearing. So the color disappears before the shape of the symbol. So I guessed that was blue based purely on the shape of the symbol, the letter of the Crichton alphabet. Which, what is that? Is that an N? Or I think that's an I. I think blue is I. I remember I being something like that in New Crichton.
Powerful harmony. One that might change the world.
Anyway, there you go. So we find all the Zephyrite. We get the power of music. A little bit of AP. Just one more bit of content done from the new release. And yeah, I got tons of achievements all over, not just Path of Fire and new releases, but all over the whole game, guys. So, you know, with this idea, AP of the day, we might find ourselves here, but we could find ourselves in Fractals another day, or in somewhere in Corteria, or back in the heat of the desert. I don't know. So you'll notice, by the way, speaking to all 6 doesn't actually even finish the heart. So definitely not a recommendation for the Renown heart. There you have it. Let me know what you think. See you tomorrow.